listening to The Wandernaut Show.
Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of The Wandernaut Show. I'm Alex Wandernaut, and today we have a very special episode for you. You might remember that in a previous podcast I caught up with David Rodriguez, who told us about what it means to laugh your way through adversity and into success. You also might remember that he mentioned a very special lady, Saran Rothberg, the founder of Comedy Cures Foundation. Now, Saran actually popped into Marriott HQ the other day, along with her comedian friend Rick Younger. Luckily, David was on hand, armed with a microphone to capture what turned out to be a fascinating and also very funny conversation between the three of them. So, for this week's podcast, I'm going to hand over to David Rodriguez, Executive Vice President and Global Chief Human Resources Officer. Enjoy.
Hi, this is David Rodriguez, standing in for Alex Wandernaut of The Wandernaut Show. And today I have two very special guests, Saran Rothberg of the Comedy Cures Foundation and Rick Younger, the renowned comedian.
Renowned, I love it.
You are renowned.
Yeah.
He's so humble.
Saran, first, thank you for joining us today at Marriott. It was an incredible day for our associates, and you have such a great story to tell.
Thank you. You know, it was an honor to be asked here. Comedy Cures gets to travel all over the world, and I stay in a lot of your properties. So I have met firsthand on many continents the different associates.
So today we had our Take Care Day, and you bring such a great story to that. Tell us a little bit about, the journey you've been on, because clearly a lot of people left here inspired today.
Thank you. For those of you who weren't able to come, we did Comedy Cures Laughing Lunch for Wellbeing 2015, and I got to come in and play and really joke with and really show people from the inside out what it's like to use humor therapeutically, not only in a medical situation, which was my case. I'm a stage 4 cancer survivor with no visible disease, thank God. And it's incredible to be able to take the journey that I've had where I used therapeutic humor and laughter and wellness, happiness, and positive thinking, along with many different other treatments from Eastern and Western medicine to get through the journey. But what I realized is, wow, not only does this work in the chemo room, but I can use this to really work with the ill and underserved, no matter what your drama is. And then the application, we started having corporations call us and governments and militaries and say, hey, can you bring some of the strategy to our headquarters? And I told the story today in the event. The way we got here today was Tiffany from Aetna, who works with Marriott. Her mother, 8 years ago, saw a story about my journey in a magazine and cut it out and put it on her refrigerator as a daily inspiration to remember to laugh and experience joy and not let the stressors of life just pull her down. And when you guys were organizing Wellness Day, Tiffany called me and just said, you don't know me, but we think that, our associates would really benefit and love to hear your story, but also to be able to really experience an hour full of complete joy and laughter. And I called Rick Younger, who's sitting next to me, who you would know from the Today Show. You can't see him because we're on a podcast, but Rick is a very handsome...
Yeah, you can't see that here, but trust her.
Longest-running comedian, reoccurring comedian on the Today Show. And in, as I said today, in every third commercial on your TV screen, from Verizon to Starburst to Chevy. I mean, really, you're missing out on not seeing him because he is just really a wonderful person.
Well, I'm going to ask everybody to go out and Google Rick.
Yes, that's what Google is for. And I'm
RickYounger.net.
Yes, I'm the first 5 pages of Rick Younger on Google. And once you get past that, there's a Rick Younger who's a captain of a ship. There's a Rick Younger who's a basketball coach. I'm neither one of those.
But Rick, tell us how you got involved with Comedy Cures and the great work that you're leading.
Well, I was introduced to Saran by my former manager. And he just knew the kind of person that I was and the kind of comedy that I did, and he thought I would be a good match for Saren. Yeah. And it just so happens we met, we clicked, and
right at the beginning.
Yeah, and
he was early on. Like, I don't even think I had much hair then.
Yeah, and Saren has definitely been an angel to me. It's like she calls on me to do so many Comedy Cures events, and over the years, my comedy has evolved, and she's seen me go in different directions with the comedy. Saren just loves me enough to think of me, and she brings me along to a lot of places that I probably would not have gone to without her.
Like the United Nations. We did the first comedy event in the history of the UN.
Yes, you don't know how hard it is to tell jokes and be funny until you have to tell jokes and no one speaks the same language. It's like you speak English and maybe one other guy, and then there's like 7 or 8 other languages in that room. Yeah. And you're like, okay, how do I make a person laugh who has no idea what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the answer is lots of funny faces and lots of
singing,
falling down.
And singing, and singing. No, it's so true. I mean, Comedy Cures, we work with hundreds of performers. If you look on Showtime or HBO or Comedy Central, that's my who's who list for the charity. But Rick and I have really, he watched me survive cancer. I watched him find his wife and get married and become a dad. I always make a joke that I didn't watch them make the baby, but I was there for every other part of it.
I think I would be described as a person that on average probably laughs exponentially more than the typical person. I just find the humor in life. And, when I was hospitalized over the last year with acute promyelocytic leukemia, at the hospital...
That's cancer, people.
It was cancer.
It was very fancy and very fast, but
it was pretty much cancer.
It's cancer.
But, I realized that I had an asset, which was, clearly the caregivers, the doctors, nurses, all very serious. Mm-hmm. I found, because I could be more relaxed about it and actually use humor, if they're human beings too, it helped to relax them, take a little bit of the edge off, let them save a little bit of energy. And the way I got out of the hospital, by the way, it was a staged performance. Literally, I knew for me, I'd be better off as an outpatient getting chemotherapy than being locked in a hospital cell.
Exactly.
And so the day I got released,
released. It is like prison.
It was like prison. A nurse said to me, you orchestrated that beautifully, and I knew what she meant. That morning when they did their morning rounds, I had set up my iPad, my laptop, and I had the speakers, and I was playing Pharrell Williams' "Happy."
Nice.
The ward could hear it.
Nice.
When they came to do their rounds, literally the head doctor said, "It's like a party here."
Yes.
And so the nurse told me later, when they all got together after their rounds, they said, "Okay, it's time for him to go."
That disrupted.
Yeah. And so, having a positive outlook, using humor is such a powerful tool.
We teach people, don't let them operate on you until they tell you a joke. So hold up the surgery until everyone in the room tells you a joke. And it is hilarious what happens. And we tell our patients to tell them before you get in the operating room so they have time to prepare. So it's not a shock, so they have time to get a joke. And you will see nurses scurrying and people looking. And I'm like, you're even allowed to tell the same joke, but you have to tell a joke. And literally they go around, from scrub nurse to doctor, to attending. Everybody has to tell a joke. And literally, you go under your anesthesia hearing everyone laugh. And I'm somebody that wakes up. Anesthesia doesn't work great on me. I'm that rare percentage of person that wakes up. And they are still telling jokes while they're operating. And people would go, oh, you don't want them doing that. No, you do. Because we talked about this in the program today. When you laugh, many wonderful things happen to the mind, body, and spirit. And they're actually, they're not laughing while they're making an incision, because that would be, but it re-oxygenates the brain. It's like a refresher. And if you have a doctor that has 10 surgeries that day and you have them take that little break like we make them take, you are actually refreshing. You're basically rebooting your surgical team. And they are coming at your surgery in a good mood and with vitality and focus and a lack of fatigue. So that same kind of energy applies in the corporate world when you encourage this kind of a day. I made the joke at the happiness break that you guys were getting paid to have recess,
Right.
And it really was.
Right.
It felt like recess. Everybody just looked a bit ageless, and they were socializing and having like treats and signing stuff and getting excited about winning raffle prizes. And there was such a vitality in the room. And you said it was the most well-attended event of anything like it. I just feel super honored that you trusted Comedy Cures to come in here today and bring joy and wellness at this level. And what makes me even more excited is that we're already dialoguing during the break between the shows of how we're going to make this contagious worldwide to your properties and to your associates. And
It connects so well to the origins of our business. We were fortunate in having founders who clearly knew the most important element to our business will be the extent to which employees, our associates, felt joy and happiness in their lives. They knew that would be translated to our customers. And that's really what's been the success of Marriott, right?
Yeah.
It's joy and happiness in our employees and their passion for wanting to bring that joy and happiness to our customers. Sure, we have beautiful buildings, but that is not the number one reason why we've been successful.
But we've experienced that
Well,
worldwide.
it's very important though. Like a perfect example, yesterday I get here after hours of driving, and you come in, and that's the first person you see when you come into the hotel. And if you have any problems, if they are, if their attitude is good, and if they're happy and they're dealing with situations, it makes you think, because you're like, oh man, I've been driving for however many hours. But if the person is nice to you, like, okay, let me dial it back, and then things get done.
Yeah.
So
it makes such a difference
Yeah,
for
it
us
does make a
because we
difference.
travel so much. It really makes a difference. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. And we're really delighted that you choose Marriott for your travels as well. We'll make sure to keep taking good care of you.
All right.
Yay.
Thank you so much.
Yay.
This is David Rodriguez for the Alex Wandernaut Show. Thank you.
And that's just about all the time we have this week, so thank you very much to my guests, Saran Rothberg, Rick Younger, and of course David Rodriguez. And thank you for listening. Remember to check back regularly for more episodes of The Wandernaut Show.